We had a energy healing session on Wednesday. I felt nothing. I was ready to come at you today and say that it's a scam.
I used to be a skeptic. I have a science degree. I used to work in the medical field.
How do you measure love?
How do we measure that? We don't always have to rely on science. I could feel people's energies. I could see energies that maybe weren't necessarily there to everyone.
What?
So a lot of people who are in end of life, there's a lot of fear. What I am able to do with the energy healing is relax that body. And I'm sorry if this triggers anyone because I know a lot of people didn't get that blessing. Sorry.
Anyone can feel connected.
Why wouldn't you be connected to your body? Everyone's a healer because your body heals, babes.
This is the point of this podcast, to change your mind. Today, I'm sitting down with someone who, if I'm honest, I wasn't really sure about at first. I actually did an energy healing session with her earlier in the week. And if I'm being completely honest, at first, I didn't really feel much. So I wanted to use this episode to explore the question so many of us have. Is energy healing actually real, or is it just a placebo? My guest is Lakhmi, founder of the 111 approach, an award-winning and celebrity-endorsed intuitive Reiki Master, teacher, and wellness therapist. What's unique about her is that before she ever entered this world, she actually worked in the medical industry for almost a decade. And she brings a rare mix of science and spirituality, blending everything from Reiki to color therapy and even quantum healing. In this conversation, I challenged her to change my mind, and we're going to dig into the science, the logic, and the mystery behind energy healing. What is it actually, how it works, and why some people swear by it, whilst others, like me, are sometimes a little bit skeptical. So whether you're a believer or a skeptic or just curious, this episode might just change your mind. And just to let you know, I actually have a bonus episode for you on Friday, because Lakhmi, when she came into the studio, actually did an energy healing for me, for you all to see how it actually works. So if you do want to watch that episode, make sure you're subscribed and have your bell notifications on so that you can actually watch this live energy healing session on Friday when I release it. I really, really am curious to know as well if Lakhmi changed your mind. So let me know in the comments once you've watched the episode. Let's get into it. Lakhmi.
Hello.
Welcome to Millennial Mind.
Thank you.
I have to say, we had a energy healing session on Wednesday and I felt nothing. I was ready to come at you today and say that it's a scam and I don't believe in it. And we just did an energy healing session in person and you have already changed my mind because I felt it.
Yeah.
And I am really, really excited to get into this conversation today.
Amazing.
Because I feel that there are a lot of skeptics like me. There are a lot of people who perhaps have had a bad experience with somebody, or they've done a Reiki session, or they've invested lots of money into Reiki and it hasn't worked for them. And what I want to do today is talk about why you're so different, the science behind Reiki, and how people can actually find good Reiki practitioners and how they can actually experience the Reiki.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know who you are, give us like a 1-minute intro about yourself.
I love that because, hello, I'm Lakhmi and I'm known as the 1-minute healer. And my company is the 111 approach. And I'm all about making wellness easy, adaptable, achievable for people everywhere. No matter how busy you are, I'm bringing something quite innovative and new to the world, I hope, and to the workplaces, because I primarily work with busy professionals and companies now, but I love working one-on-one with skeptics. I used to be a skeptic. I have a science degree. I used to work in the medical field, and now I left a very good paying medical job to do this full time now. And so it's been 3 years since I've been doing it full time.
Amazing. I mean, you're a science-based professional who's been in the medical industry for more than 10 years. How did you go from that to transitioning into Reiki or energy healing? And are Reiki and energy healing the same thing, by the way?
So Reiki is like the brand name now. It's a bit like Hoover. So everyone's like, I've got a Hoover at home.
Got it.
Do you have a Hoover or do you have a Shark or a Dyson? So Reiki is a form of energy healing.
Got it.
And it's the Japanese, it sort of originated, well, I shouldn't say originated, it got popularized in Japan by Yusui Mikao. Mikao Usui, and that's why it's known as Usui Reiki, and that's one form of Reiki. I do 7 different styles of Reiki. That's why my energy healing is slightly different. I can't traditionally call myself, although I'm a Reiki Master teacher, and I teach Reiki, Usui Reiki. I also teach angelic Reiki, so I'm an angelic Reiki Master teacher. I also am a practitioner of quantum Reiki, which is why I'm known as the 1 minute healer. So I collapse timelines. So what traditionally takes 60 minutes, I can do in 10 minutes, which is a 10-minute session that we just did today. And you still feel the benefits. Yeah. So that's where my the 1-1-1 approach is slightly different, because we can do things quickly.
Yes, I love that.
And you can get results very quickly as well.
I love that. So talk to me, how did you move from the medical industry to now being an energy healer?
So I need to take us back a little bit from when I was probably in my mother's womb. Don't worry, I won't get too graphic. But when I was born, I was very intuitive at birth. And I recently learned that I've come from a very intuitive spiritual family. My mom was very intuitive, my grandma was, and now I actually grew up in an extended household. So I grew up with 17 people in 2 houses. So like a proper Bollywood style. So I lived with my dad, his 2 brothers, my grandparents and my aunt as well. And I've again realised after my dad passing that actually some of my cousins are very intuitive as well.
Wow.
So we've come from that kind of family. So when I was growing up, I could feel people's energies. I could see energies that maybe weren't necessarily there to everyone. Very quickly, when I started school, realised that that's not normal. And so I was already the token brown kid at school. I didn't want to be the token brown kid who also can see and feel people's energies. So I shut it down.
Hold on, talk to me about that. What do you mean you can see and feel people's energies? What did you used to see and feel?
Well, I had an imaginary friend that's when I was younger. And you think, oh, it's an imaginary friend. I now realise that that was probably an energy of someone that was there.
Really?
Yeah. I called him Mr. Nobody.
I've never thought about it like that, actually. So for people who have had imaginary friends growing up, it could have been like a spirit.
Yeah. Or like one of their loved ones but they don't, because children are so open and they don't have that skeptical mind that me and you have now, because we're like, did I really see something? Or was there really some weird energy in the corner? Or am I just feeling like depressed and stuff? But depressed is like a lower vibration energy. So that energy in that corner is probably lots of people's bad thoughts and just coagulated there. But it can also manifest into energies like spirits and ancestor energy or loved ones or angels or things like that as well. So
you didn't tell anyone at school that you could see things? Or could you see things? Sorry.
I could see, and so I don't see like a person standing there.
Okay.
I would see like the outline, and like I'd see like a glowing like image, and it was most of the time really lovely when I was younger.
So can you see that right now?
No, because I haven't connected and open to you now, because I now have very strong boundaries. I enjoy being human, so I'm in my human, like when I'm out and about, I'm very much like, I'm here, I'm just Lakhmi. But when I connect, which is why I could feel and see you, Nani, when I was connected to you, but now I've disconnected and I'm just fully in my humanness, I guess.
Okay, so it's like a switch you can turn on and off.
Yeah, because you could. It's just. I would say people who are open all the time, you'll be very drained. You're absorbing energies and you're picking up energies from very low vibration states as well. So whereas there's other people, and I'm not knocking how other people do it, because some people will be like, oh, I can just see your aura. Beautiful, that's amazing, and people love that. But for me, because I work with such high frequency energies, if I just went around open, I guess, to seeing energies, I know there's lots of low vibration energies.
And you'll pick it up.
Yeah, and I like to keep myself energetically clean and protected. And that's what I'm very, very passionate about, teaching people who come to me and my clients, and even in the corporate world where they're not maybe so spiritually inclined, it's all about energy protection. So I don't use those labels of like, oh, you might see spirit and things like that.
Yeah.
I talk about it from a very practical point of view. It's like when you speak to people who are like very, very low vibration, like we've all had those experiences where you've just like, someone's just droning on at you, whining, whinging, moaning. How do you feel after that conversation?
Awful.
Because what's happened, you've absorbed their energy without you even knowing. So even with clients, when I speak to some of my business owners, I'm like, when you've got those clients, when you kind of know they're going to be a bit of a problem, put a little bit of a protection around you, even if it's just like, right, I am just protecting my energy. I'm putting like a glass window, like in the bank. And when you're going into a client meeting, I say to them, just imagine there's that glass between them. And so anything that they're bringing at you or you're speaking with them about, and it's not something that you want to absorb, it's just going to be deflected from that glass. So it can go as practical as you want, or I can go as spiritual woo as you want. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that I can do both, and I can do everything in the middle. So
wow. I mean, okay, sorry, let's go back to, like you said, your childhood, where you'd realize that you could see this. You didn't want to be the token brown girl, and you didn't want to be the token energy weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because back then, you know, there wasn't a lot of information about energy, spiritual things. It was very much like, that is just very weird. We can't explain that.
Okay.
And so I also had some experiences when I was growing up that I could see very dark energy. So I suffered with sleep paralysis. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I've suffered with that.
Okay, see, there you go. Like doesn't happen so frequently now, because I do protection before I go to sleep. But now and again, you know, heavy energy, and it manifests into some form of sleep paralysis. So I was suffering from that when I was growing up. And again, there was not much information about it, about how to deal with it, what it means. It was very scary for someone who's like a 10-year-old. And I'm just feeling this energy, and it's very heavy, and it's sitting on your chest, and it's trying to bring you, like drag you back into the bed. I was like, I'm not here for it. So I actually shut it down. I was like, I'm not religious. I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in anything. If anybody mentioned the word ghost or spirit, I would just literally cover my hands over my head. I never watched any horror movies, nothing. And I was very scared about it. So I shut it down, went down the science route, studied biology with genetics at university, got into the medical field. And it was in 2015, so 10 years ago now, I was in New Zealand on a family holiday. And my aunt, who lives out there, lovely Dutch lady called Caroline Panesar, she invited me to that first night that we arrived in New Zealand. Bear in mind, it's like, what, a 25-hour flight? My sister gets a room with a double bed to sleep in. My parents get a room. My brother gets a room. And then Caroline auntie, love you, but I'm just going to like out you. She was like, I've prepared this room, an air mattress on the floor of this room that had crystals and dream catchers and all this weird and wonderful things. And I'm like, can I not sleep in the bed with my sister? And she was like, no, I want you to sleep in this room on the floor. And I'm thinking, all right, fine. I was like, you know what? I'm so tired. I'm probably just going to go to sleep anyway. Fell asleep around 3:30. It was 3:30, I think. I woke up and I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, I'm awake. And then I saw this figure it's crazy. It's crazy that I speak right now. But I saw this outline, white outline, right at the end of my bed, and it was glowing. And for the first time in my 20 years or something, since I was a kid, I didn't feel scared. And I knew it was my grandma. And I was like, Mama. And I like called out to it. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Lakhmi? Go to sleep. This is weird. And I just felt this overwhelmed love. And I just smiled, and then I just fell back asleep. Next morning, I was like, that must have been a dream. That must have been a dream. And I was explaining it over breakfast to my aunt. And I was like, but Caroline auntie, but I know I looked at my phone.
Yeah.
So how can it be a dream? Because you don't look at your phone. Yeah. And I knew I was awake. And she's like, oh yeah, no. And then she smiled and she goes, that's why I wanted you to sleep in that room. And then that kind of unlocked that curiosity. And I'm like, how comes I wasn't scared? And how comes that happened to me? Because I know I'm not crazy, and I know I'm not one of these people who were like searching for it. She explained, like, let me give you a Reiki session. And I thought, what is this nonsense? I did think, I was like, what is this nonsense? But I didn't want to be rude.
Right.
She's my aunt. We're staying at their house. And I was like, yeah, go on. And also, I like to say to people, my rule in life is, look, life is for experimenting and exploring. And although I might not understand it or might not believe in it, I'm in that line of thought of just be open.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit, for me, I feel it's a little bit arrogant to think, well, yeah, no, I don't believe in it, so I'm not going to do it. But it's just like, well, we're finding out things every single day we're making breakthroughs in technology and science. I mean, about 100 years ago, people thought the world was flat.
Yeah.
And that was a belief that it was flat.
Yes.
And now that's been debunked, although there are the flat earthers out there still.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got an opinion and belief. So I was like, listen, let's just try it. As long as it's not going to, if it's not going to do any harm, it's not going to land me in jail, and I'm not going to get caught. I'm open to trying. It's life. Let's just do it. So I thought, okay, let's do it. And I like to say to people at this point when I tell this story, I was in a position in my life, I was 30, and I was not going through any kind of crazy trauma. I was living my best life, single in New York at the time. I was like, yeah, let's go. So I didn't have any physical pains. I didn't have any, anything that was wrong with me at the time. I was just trying it out just as an experiment.
Yeah.
So she has me on there, fully clothed on this table, and she's hovering her hands, and I could feel this heat. And a bit like what you were saying, I was like, where is this heat coming from me? Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. Fine, people have hot hands, but this was proper heat. And then I could feel something swirling in my chest, round. And I'm like, what is going on? And I remember opening my eyes a little bit. And I know you opened your eyes a little bit as well the first time. I was peering out my eyelids.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Exactly. We're very similar in that sense. And I was like, what is she doing? And I kid you not, I felt and I saw some smoky energy coming out of my chest. And I'm like, I literally was like, what is going on? It was a little bit like that scene in, is it The Matrix, when he has that thing in his stomach and he's in the cab and he takes it out.
I really need to watch The Matrix.
You really need to watch it.
I know.
And I was like, this is crazy. And she's not even putting any pressure on me. So after the session, I was very much similar to you. I was like, what did you do? I was like, I feel lighter. I feel like my chest has opened up and my shoulders were moved back. And I was like, what? She was like, you were carrying a lot of heaviness in your chest. I'd been divorced. So I got divorced in 2013. So but I'd gone through therapy. I'd gone through counseling. And I was like, again, living my best life, single in New York. I was like, yeah, it's done and dusted. She was like, no, your body was carrying that heaviness from all the trauma that you experienced from the divorce and the incident that happened that kind of led to the divorce. And the thing is, my body had just become used to it. So now I say to people, just have a session, even as if there's nothing wrong with you, because it's like chronic pain.
Yes.
Your body just becomes used to the pain, because what does your body need to do? Your body is designed to survive. This vessel of ours is designed to keep us alive. Our brain, our ego is designed to keep us alive in whatever situation. So the same way, if you've got something that's happened to your body or happened in your life traumatically, but even physically, at some point, if it's not getting fixed, your body will just adapt.
Yes.
So when I had a foot surgery, for 2 years afterwards, this is before I started doing energy healing and stuff, I was still in pain. But it got to the point where I was like, well, I just
I'm used to the pain now.
Yeah, it's in the background. That's what had happened with my heart, with my thing. And then, I was like that. I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, but you're a scientist. You should know everything's energy. Everything's made up of atoms. Atoms have a frequency and we have a frequency. And energy healing just helps with connecting yourself to your body, aligning that frequency. And actually you can use high vibrational frequencies to help make your body and energy into alignment. And so she started talking to me about the science behind it. She initiated me on the beach to level 1. And I tell you, Shivani, the stuff that I saw, and my eyes were open. And I know I'm not crazy. Well, I'm, like I said, I've got very, very skeptical, logical mind.
Yeah.
I hadn't been drinking. I didn't do drugs or don't do drugs. I was of clear mind.
Right.
And I saw figures in front of me. I saw angel wings on the back of me. And I was like, I literally looked like this. And I'm like, how am I seeing this? I'm not hallucinating. I can understand when people are hallucinating, if they haven't eaten or drank for a while.
Yeah.
You can get hallucinations. I was fine. I hadn't eaten meat. I hadn't drank because I had to keep myself pure for the initiation.
What's initiation?
for Reiki, for like if someone's teaching you Reiki and you're gonna
Oh, right.
yes, there's like you get trained and then you have an initiation process.
Can anyone get trained and do initiation?
Yeah, I teach it. I'm a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
So you believe anyone can be a Reiki master?
Yes. Yes.
Surely not.
Why not?
Well, what if you're not a good person? Or what if you haven't cleared your energy?
You obviously need to do your own work.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. What if you...
I mean, I couldn't be like, right, let's do one now. There's training. You've got to go through the training. You've got to learn this. Yeah, come, I'll teach you, babes.
Maybe I'll be a Reiki master, everyone. You never know. Maybe I'll be like, Reiki was a load of rubbish. And now I'm like, guys, I'm a Reiki master. This is the point of this podcast, to change your mind.
That exactly what happened to me. I was like, this weird room. And now she's making me sleep on the floor. And now she's giving me a Reiki. 10 years later, I'm a Reiki. Well, 8 years later, I was a Reiki master. And even...
It's amazing.
It was funny because because there's levels. So you do level 1 for Usui Reiki. There's level 1, there's level 2, and then you can do a practitioner and then master, and then there's grandmaster as well. With angelic Reiki, it's slightly different, but there's still levels. And I remember my angelic Reiki master was like, "You should do the teacher course." I'm like, "But I'm never going to teach it. I don't want to teach it." She was like, "No, just do it." And guess what? I'm now teaching it, and I'm like, even then, when I was starting on my journey, I was like, I'm never going to teach it. I just want to do it for myself.
Wow.
Because again, I didn't think it was going to work. And that's when I started. So when I came back from New Zealand, because it just literally opened my eyes back into this. I came back to England, and I'll be honest, I started going on a mission, a bit like you, experimenting. I was like, I'm going to disprove it. Because again, when I got back to England, I was like, maybe it was just because I was at my aunt's house. I didn't want to be rude to her and say that it didn't work. And maybe all that stuff that I saw on that beach when she was putting all this like initiation and symbols into me, maybe that was just like, I wanted it to work.
Right.
I was making all these excuses.
Yeah, of
so I
course.
was like, let me come back to England and do a proper experiment. Went round to lots of different teachers, didn't say anything, a bit like you. I was like, I'm not saying anything to them. Let's just see what happens. Every single time, Shivani, I got something positive, whether it was a physical healing or like I felt physically better or more emotionally like sound. I was like, how do they know about that? Or why do I now feel a little bit more at peace? Or I just felt more connected to my body. So every time there was something that was shifting. And so I was like, there's something in this. And then I went down that rabbit hole, did a lot of research into it, trained in it, and started doing it for family and friends. Because I was like, because obviously you have to practice as well to get to master teacher. You've got to do case studies. So I was like practicing it there. And every single person was like, Lakhmi, what are you doing? And then a few people who've done Reiki before, they were like, what you're doing is not traditional Reiki, but something else is happening. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just putting my hands on you and then this thing, and then I'm seeing things or I'm knowing things. And how do I know this? And so it kind of like blossomed into this thing about some of my family members were like, you need to start doing this. Like, this is your gift. This is your purpose.
But hold on, if it's your gift, then how can everybody do it? Like, if you have like a healing hands, because I definitely did feel like your hands were different from Luke's.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that. Sorry, Luke, I keep like saying how unhealing your hands were, but your hands did feel different. And like, how can everyone do it if they're not as intuitive, or they've never felt connected, or you know what I mean? This
is why you have to. We can help you become.
Anyone can feel connected.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you be connected to your body? And how is not everyone a healer? Everyone's a healer.
True.
Because your body heals, babes. Like,
true.
When we cut ourselves, do we go to a healer if we've got a paper cut or like a small cut on our hands? Would you come to me to heal that? No, your body heals it itself because it knows what to do.
Wow.
What energy healing does, or what Reiki does, is it just focuses your energy to accelerate that healing. But your body's doing the healing. I'm not doing the healing. You're doing the healing.
Well, what are you doing then?
I'm holding that space. I'm creating that environment for your body to accelerate the healing.
Why can't I create that space for my own body to do it?
You can.
How?
We just need to teach you how to do it. So it's a bit like meditation. Everyone can meditate, but why are some people better at meditating and have all these amazing experiences? Yeah. It takes practice. It's called meditation practice because you need to practice it. Reiki is a practice. It's a form of energy healing. Anything that we do, I say to people, we're all made up of the same components. We all have the same 4 bases of genes. They're just arranged differently.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could do anything. I know that sounds like really, you could do anything, but you really can if you put your mind to it. It's just some people their genes are naturally more expressed in that way. So it's a bit like Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world, right? Is he still the fastest man?
Unsure.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But his ability to run fast was heightened at birth. He was naturally fast.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure.
Is he?
Didn't he just practice?
There you go. I'm just saying. But he had slightly more, I said maybe his genes were slightly more expressed in terms of like he could run faster than his kids in his class, right? And then with training, with practice,
maybe
with
his legs were longer, or he was taller, or okay.
But if me and you wanted to, and we got the right nutritionist, we got the right coach, we got the right mindset, and we put our minds to it, like, we're going to break his record, and we gave ourselves the right resources and the right environment with enough practice, I know we could do it. I'm not even going to say I think we could do it. I know we could do it.
Be the next Usain Bolt. You never know.
So you're going to be a Usain Bolt and you're going to be a Reiki Master.
Just to prove you all wrong. This is the only thing.
This is it. Amazing.
Wow, this is amazing. I think I just have so much to say on that, because I feel what you've just said around everyone's a healer, I think is really transformative around when we cut ourselves. We don't go to someone to be like, I've got a cut here. I'm not going to go to someone and be like, can you heal it for me? Like, my body will heal it itself.
Exactly.
And I talk about something when I say that we all have the right answers for ourselves. It's just we need to sit there and really learn to feel comfortable enough in order to listen to what our body is telling us.
Yes.
And it's interesting, when you were doing the Reiki on me, I was thinking, I should practice sitting still more to really express and understand how I'm feeling. Because part of me, when I was feeling this really heavy, thing in my chest, and if you want to watch the Reiki session, by the way, it's going to be uploaded on Friday, the whole thing, the live session. But I really did feel this heaviness in my chest. And I was thinking, gosh, I don't remember the last time I sat down and really felt that. I don't remember it. And also, this morning I trampolined because I got a trampoline.
Oh, yeah. To move the energy
lymphatic
around.
drainage. Yeah. But actually, when I was doing it, I felt like, it moves your energy around, and it's kind of linked to chi, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like that movement first thing in the morning. So I thought it was really powerful. But, I'll be really honest. When I'm very skeptical of Reiki. I've had 3 sessions with people. I felt absolutely nothing on 2 of them. And on 1 of them, I was in a really vulnerable state. And I do feel that I just needed someone to hold space for me. I didn't feel that her hands were particularly like moving my energy or anything. And I was very skeptical as well, though, if I'm completely honest. So I can't really blame her. But the other one I had, when I was open to it, I thought it was a complete load of crap. So I have been determined to find someone to talk about this with, and everyone told me to talk to you. And, when we had the session on Wednesday, what I did feel, though, I was really trying to not feel it as well, because I felt like virtually, what are you going to feel? So I did feel that resistance from myself. And I didn't feel that different. But in today's session, I felt very different. And again, I was trying to prove you wrong so I could come on this podcast and ask you everything about it.
Yeah.
But I really want to touch upon what you said around noticing things when you're younger.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of documentaries around kids who remember their past lives. And it's because they don't have a lot of these messages from their parents that are saying, block out all those things, or you're wrong, or you're making things up. People have gone to places and be like, I've been here before. And their parents have been really open. And therefore, they've really got this information out of their child about how they remember their past life. Same when it comes to energies and ghosts. Now, when I was younger, I would always say I have been quite intuitive, and that's actually something you picked up from the Reiki session. And I would still say I am now. Like, my family always think I'm a bit weird, and Nicole sometimes thinks I'm a bit psychic because I'll just predict something, or like I'll just know. But for me, it's just logic and patterns. I'll just be like, well, it's just logical, isn't it? Because that's why this is going to happen, and then it'll happen, and he'll be like, how did you know that? But I think it's like patterns I'm noticing. So I don't think it's necessarily like a gift. I think it's more that I'm just good at noticing patterns in human behavior because I talk about it and study it a lot. But I remember when my nanny passed away, and, even just now when we did the session, I didn't really talk about it. I find it very difficult to talk about it. I've never really spoken publicly about it, but I was 16 or 17 when she passed. And I found it really, really difficult when she passed away because I grew up with her. You know, I was her favorite child. I was the first grandchild at that side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really close to her. I used to be closer to her than I was closer to my mum. So when she died, it was a really big shock for me, especially because I was there holding her hand while she passed away. I remember when she passed, and people are going to think I'm so woo-woo for saying this, but when she passed, I used to get dreams every night that she was dying in my arms in the bath. Apart from one night where she said to me, go into the spare room and get the shawl. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I woke up in the morning and I told my mum that, and she was like, okay. And then I described it to her. It was a white shawl. It had like colored patterns on the end. I'd never seen the shawl. Like I had no idea, but I just told my mum what my dream was, because my mum is also quite spiritual and very open to these things. Anyway, we forgot about it. I completely forgot about it. And then a few months later, when they went to go clear out her things, my mum found the shawl, which was so weird, right? It was so weird. And I just thought, okay, maybe I've seen it. It was in my subconscious, whatever. But what I do remember is at university, and I don't know if this is grief or I don't know if this is the spirit being there, I remember feeling my nanny in my room. And in the beginning, I used to get freaked out by it. But as you were talking about that room, I remember one day coming back from uni and coming in and feeling her and being like, hi, nanny, how are you? I had a really bad day. And like, I was talking to her about it and I was like, whatever. And then she would go. And then suddenly she just went, by the way. It wasn't that like I used to feel like I missed her, and I used to really like want to connect and bring her back, and I couldn't. And like still now, there are some days I get dreams about her, but they're very, very far and in between. There's sometimes I get dreams that like she's like in a Tesco and like I've seen her on CCTV and she's like hiding. Oh. One day I had a dream that she was like in a tribe and she was like living her best life and she was so happy. But I actually haven't had a dream about her in a long time. But, you know, obviously, you know, in the session, you said that you could feel her on my shoulders. Now, I told you about her passing. So how do I know that you're not just saying that she's there with you? Because I also have other people in my life who have passed, which I haven't told you about. How do you know it's her, and how do you not know it's someone else?
Okay, love this question. I'm going to go back to some science first.
Yeah.
Because when we think about, well, again, was that just grief, and where does energy go when, you know, where do our loved ones go when that? Firstly, we can't always be sure because no one's really come back to tell us, right? Yeah. Like we can't be like, yeah, they're definitely here, or they're definitely in heaven, or they're definitely at this place. We don't know. That's the truth. Like no one knows the truth. Who knows the truth? No one does. The scientists don't as well. Like it's just theory that has been they're proven. But again, that can be disproven. Case in point, flat earth. With the energy thing, the first law of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transmuted. So that means that you're just looking like this.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So
interesting.
That is everything in the universe has come from an energy source. So people call it the universe, people call it God, creator, divine energy. That is like the first law of thermodynamics. Like everything is energy and it cannot be created or destroyed because it has to be as a whole. It can just be transmuted. So we are energy. Everything in our body is energy. We are electrical beings. People are like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, our heart sends electrical impulses. That's why they put a pacemaker in to put electrical impulses back into your body.
Correct.
So we are walking, talking electrical machines. When our physical body expires, that energy that's going round, where does it go? It can't just vanish. It has to get transmuted. In terms of you feeling your nanny and her presence, again, from a scientist side of things, yes, maybe at the beginning, because we're grief-stricken, we're missing that person immensely.
Yeah.
We feel the energy more because we want to, because that's what's going to provide us comfort. It's going to get us through that difficult time.
Yeah.
From a spiritual side, that energy is around you more, again, for those same reasons, to provide comfort, to provide care, because they want to let you know that they're still around. And they are still around. We just don't know where. As time goes by, you know, the grief is always there. I never say time's a healer because it's not. What it does is it allows our bodies to process that trauma, that sadness, that emotion, it's still there.
Yeah.
And from time to time when we think about them, we do get emotional. I'm the same with my dad. So that energy, or their energy that was there to provide comfort and healing and to get us through that trauma at the beginning, doesn't always have to be there now. They just pop in now and again, just to let us know, like in our dreams. So most people have dreams because when we're in dream state, our bodies are not conscious, basically. Well, they're conscious, but they're not as conscious as we are awake.
Yes.
So the barriers, that skeptical barrier that most of us have, is low when we're sleeping. That's why, going back to the energy healing, I'm able to put your body in a very relaxed state.
Yes.
So that those barriers are not there for me to be able to sort of connect with your energy. Same way as you're sleeping. That's why a lot of people have dreams about their loved ones, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I saw my dad in the dream, or saw my grandma in the dream," because that's the way or the route that energy can come and visit you, I suppose.
No way. Yeah. So your dreams actually mean something scientifically.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know about scientific.
Yeah.
But the dream, when you're in a dream state, and there have been reports where people have had messages come through. Like my mom's very intuitive. She was dreaming the day my grandma passed away, and my grandma lived with us as well. And she woke up because in her dream, my grandma said, "Mejalli," which means I'm going, right? And she just woke up. My dad's next to her, and she goes, "Mama's gone." And went downstairs. She passed.
Oh my God, I literally have shivers.
Yeah. So she'd come into the room, and then another story like that. There's so many stories out there. So like,
yeah.
Do we need science? How do we measure that? We can't measure that. This is
true.
I love science, but also I'm saying to people, we don't always have to rely on science.
And measure everything.
Because...
True. How do you measure love?
Exactly.
How do you measure how much you love someone?
Well, there are studies that have shown that there's signals from the heart that people think that the brain controls everything. Actually, there's some studies being shown that your heart sends a signal to the brain first. So our brains, although they perceive what's going on.
Yes.
There's recent studies, modern neuroscience has shown that the brain actually not only perceives reality, but it's also guessing. So it's actually playing a guessing game of just a bit like how you were like logically what's going to happen next. That's what your brain's doing, is putting things together that then manifest into reality. This is why the placebo effect works so well. And this is why manifestation and visualization works, because what you're doing, you are telling your brain what to focus on and what your reality is going to be like. Like the same way, I'm sure have you heard of the reticular activating system? So your brain is filtering out everything, but you're now telling your brain what you want to focus on. So where you're saying, Nicole was saying, "Oh, how did you know that?" Your logical mind is saying, "Well, this and this should happen." Well, of course, then that's going to happen.
The weirdest thing I remember when my mum thought that I was quite weird and spiritual and spooky. When I was 8 years old, I used to go for swimming lessons with my brother on a Saturday. And like I said, I was obsessed with my nanny. So I would always beg my mum, can I go? Can I go? And she would always say, no, we've got to get back home. But on this particular day, I said to my mum, I want to go. And she was just like, no, we can't go. And then I remember being like, but I just want to drive past. Can I just drive past the house and can I see it? And she was like, no. And I remember kicking off. I remember being like, I have to go. I just want to see it. It's not going to take long. I must go. And we went. And there was an ambulance outside the house. My mum's grandma had just died 10 minutes before. And she was like, why did you want me to go there? Why did you want us to just drive past? And she always remembers that as such a weird time where I was so in touch with, and I remember it so well when we got there and I said, is it nanny? Is it nanny? Because my nanny was always unwell growing up. And she came outside and she said, Bar just died. Oh. And I just I think that as children, I really do believe that we are all intuitive,
Yeah.
but we shut it off.
Yep.
And like, I see myself doing that even with you, like in this episode, when you're watching it, you can see that like I'm saying, you'll see actually in the energy episode where you actually do the energy healing on me, I'm justifying everything. Like my hands went cold, but is the AC on? Or, you know, I felt like a healing on my shoulders, but actually, Luke, can you come over here and put your hands on me just so I can double check? And I do think that we've become a lot more guarded and a lot more skeptical because we're taught to always use our logical mind. And I think that a lot of women, especially, ignore their intuition.
Yeah.
So how do we get more in touch with our intuition? How do we know that what our body is telling us, what it's signaling to us is true? And how do we like tap into it more?
Yeah, I love that you brought this up, because this is something that I'm so passionate about, helping people become more connected to themselves. Gut intuition. Why is gut health so important now?
Yeah.
Because that's where we feel. That's where our intuition lives.
Yeah.
It lives here and it lives in our heart. Now, I say to people, you know, our mind and our heart can kind of lead us astray, because like emotions, right? So, you know, our heart is precious, but it can lead us astray, because I've been in relationships where I should have just left them a long time ago, but my heart was like, let me just try and make it work. But our gut never lies. Our gut never lies.
Never lies.
And when you don't follow your gut instinct, what do? You regret it. But, I should have listened to that little sign. And, you know, they say
but people don't even know they have the sign, do they?
Well, this is the thing, because I also feel that this is going off on another topic, because what we're feeding ourselves physically, but also what we're absorbing when we're watching things, what we're hearing, everything has a frequency. Everything is made up of energies. Keep coming back to it. Everything has energy, numbers, words, food, you know, low processed food that is going to stay in your cupboard for years with an expiry date of like 2 years. That's very low vibration food versus an organic, local produce apple from your tree outside in the garden. That's going to have very high vibration energy. So making sure that we're cleaning our gut, we're eating right, we're feeding our bodies and our minds good vibrational things, like listen to music that lifts you, you know. I do say there's always a balance, right? So there is a thing called toxic positivity as well.
Yeah.
When you're so far in scale and it's a bit like, no, everything's amazing, even though it's not. I say to people, no, you have to feel your emotions. You have to feel sad when you feel sad. You have to feel anger when you're feeling anger, because your body needs to release it. Accept it, feel it. You're frustrated, that's fine, but then move through it. How are you going to move through it? And that's where I help people do that with the coaching side of what I do. But from an energetic point of view, is I love helping people get connected to themselves. So I do 1 minute wellness. So I help people do very short things very quickly that will help them get back into connection with their body, because you're, like you said, we've been designed, and in society now is rely on facts, rely on science, which you should, because any Tom, Dick and Harry can come and say, oh, by the way, this can of water is going to heal you every ailment in your body. Marketing, that's a lot of things have marketed to us like that. So I help people kind of get in touch with their own intuition,
right,
so that they can make judgments and decisions that are right for them, because there's not a one size fits all. I'm not going to be the best energy healer for every single person, because some people might look at me and might not feel safe with me, and that's absolutely fine. Doesn't mean that I'm not good at what I do. It just means that they're vibrating on a different level. It's like tuning into a different radio station. There's not one radio station that's better. You know, it's just what your preference is. So you have to go with who you vibrate with, who you resonate with.
I love that.
That's why we all have friends, like different friend groups, right? We all have different friendship groups, and sometimes you meet people and you're like, I really like this person. Because you're on the same frequency as them. And
someone else can meet them and be like, God, they're so annoying.
Exactly.
So true.
So who's right, who's wrong? No one. There's no right or wrong. And even with the science part of things, I mean, I love it because for me, I'm very much like you, logical. I like to justify things because I also want to make sure that I'm not, and the reason why I'm doing it, I'm not leading people astray as well.
Right.
Because like I said at the beginning, I got scammed. When I was in a very vulnerable state, I'd lost my dad. And very much like you, I just wanted to connect to his energy because at the time, I did have some amazing experiences with my dad's energy. I don't speak about this a lot, but I'm going to say it, and if you want to cut it out, you can. But when he was dying in hospital during the first lockdown, it was a miracle because at first they were saying one person only by his bedside. By a miracle, we ended up having 4 in ICU in Birmingham Hospital, and I'm always so thankful for that. And I'm sorry if this triggers anyone because I know a lot of people at that time didn't get that blessing. Yeah. Sorry. I was giving energy healing to him while he passed, because what I also do is palliative care and end of life healing. Now, that's not necessarily healing the body to, we all have to go at some point. But what I do is help remove the fear from that person, because it's, I think we can all admit death is a very scary topic. We know it's going to happen. It's the only thing that's inevitable in life. People say taxes as well, but it depends on where you live, because some people don't have to pay taxes. But death is the only thing that is inevitable in this life. But yet we're so scared of it. So a lot of people who are in end of life, there's a lot of fear when it comes to that end. So what I am able to do with the energy healing is relax that body, relax their mind, help that fear energy, which is very low vibration energy, transmute into something a bit more peaceful. So I was doing that with my dad. And this is where it kind of, I think, cemented in me a little bit more, because I had my angelic Reiki Master who was in London. I was in Birmingham doing the same thing distantly. And then I had Caroline Auntie in New Zealand who was also doing it, because I said to them, I said, listen, Dad's not going to make it. Can you please help me with the end of life transition? The 3 of us, I actually saw his energy come out, and then I handed it over to, it sounds crazy, I handed it over to my grandma and my granddad who were standing there, and our Guruji, our spiritual master, who was also there. I literally was like, there you go, kind of thing. As it, I honestly thought I was just making it up in my head. I was like, I've probably just made that up because that's what I wanted for my dad. Yeah. All right, I'm just going on. I was like, I probably made that up. What really, I would say, freaked me out a bit was my angelic Reiki Master in London and Caroline Auntie in New Zealand both said the same thing. And I hadn't even told them. And that's why I was like, there must be something in there. I couldn't have just... Crazy, right? And then after his death, the few days that, we were doing prayers and meditation and things for him, because every day when he was in the hospital, when he went in, obviously we weren't allowed to go into hospitals. We weren't allowed to visit. Every day we sat at 2:00 and we did 15 minutes we were asking anyone, prayers, meditation. I was just doing energy healing from afar for my dad. Every day while he was in hospital. And I remember the day he passed away, the next day we sat at 2:00 and I just said, well, I can't send him healing because he's not here. And then something said to me in my head, it was like, just do it anyway. And then I could see his energy, and I'm like, Dad, is that you? And he's like, yeah, I'm here. And I couldn't believe it. I just like smile now, because I was like, oh my God. In my head again, I was like, even if this is not real, and I'm just totally making it up, I don't care, because it's actually making me feel better.
Well, I mean, it's so powerful. I've got tears in my eyes while you were telling me that. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that are watching this. Some are going to really resonate with you. Maybe they've had similar experiences. Maybe not as quite like the same as yours, because they haven't practiced as much, maybe like a softer version. But I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to say, isn't it just a placebo effect?
Yeah.
Or isn't it just something that like I'm not against it. Yeah. I'm glad that it like helped you, but isn't it just something that you're doing to make yourself feel better?
Yeah. And you know what? I say to people when they say, oh, what if it's a placebo effect? I was like, who cares?
What if it is?
And you know what?
True.
I love the placebo effect.
So true.
Because why does placebo get a bad rep? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Placebo is such a beautiful thing because that is showing us and proving to us how freaking powerful we are, how beautifully powerful our brains are, our minds are. Hello, we get to dictate what happens to our body.
Yeah.
We get to dictate what we feel. We're not letting a pill or something or this can of water tell me how I'm going to be feeling.
So true.
This might be the most hydrating can of water, but I get to choose that because I could just say, well, I'm having my Reiki infused water and that's hydrating me.
Yeah.
And guess what? Experiments have shown that the placebo effect is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
amazing. True. So true, actually. I don't like, so what if you can use your imagination to make you feel better, then use it.
Yes.
You know?
Because when I was doing my degree, part of my dissertation was we had to read a lot of clinical papers and basically assess the quality of the paper. So we learned how to see whether or not it was funded by, the pharmaceutical company or it was funded by the hospital that wanted to do the paper, and whether the trials were, randomized, were they double blinded, or were there certain things that were rigged to make the results. So I learned a lot about how to read clinical papers. And I think this is what's helped me go on record to say energy healing works, because I've read the papers and I know what happens because there've been results done in animals, which I love because, animals don't have the same skepticism as we do. So they've done studies, double-blinded, randomized studies in rats, whereby they were inducing an effect on their neurons, and they were seeing which neurons were fired, and also on their nerve damage.
Right.
And they were doing Reiki on these rats sitting there in front of the cages, just not touching them, but like from afar in front of the tanks every day for 3 weeks. And the rats that had been given Reiki started repairing the nerves. I'll send you the paper. It's fascinating. And they also did had someone who was just sitting there, not doing Reiki, and just putting their hands up like this.
Right.
And it was like statistically shown that the Reiki was actually helping. And that's why now it's used in hospitals.
Oh my God.
So a lot of people don't realize that Reiki is used in hospitals. Now, traditionally it's been done and funded by charities.
Right.
And they come in and do Reiki for patients who are undergoing long-term chemotherapy. And now it's been used in transplant surgeries as well. Oh. But now some hospitals actually hire them as full-time therapists. Yeah, UCL Hospital is one of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But so I think a lot of people now are probably like, okay, I'm interested in Reiki and this is really interesting and let me maybe book a session. Mm-hmm. How do you distinguish someone who is a scam artist Reiki practitioner and a real Reiki practitioner? Because what you've just said is there was a study done where mice were given Reiki from a professional and then someone else was just standing there holding their hands there. Mm-hmm. And the mice didn't react to it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, after our session on Wednesday where I didn't feel anything, my skeptical mind was, I didn't feel anything, it doesn't work. And you as a Reiki practitioner are telling me, listen, we need to do more sessions because you're really blocked and you haven't done this before and you might need to practice it a few more times, which now obviously I realize is true. But for some people, they might think like, well, you're just trying to scam me to get more money out of me. And, how does somebody know then? I need to go this is a legit Reiki practitioner and this is actually a scam artist who's just trying to take advantage of me in a vulnerable state.
Yeah, I love this question because this is another thing I'm really passionate about, helping people decipher that. The short answer is you can't. How do we know? Because there's scam artists in any industry. True. Even with builders, they have they're in Witch, is it Witch now? I don't know. Yeah. They're in like Checker Trade or whatever, and they've been Trustpilot and all these things. We can't have a guarantee that the person that we're working with in any industry is going to be legit or genuine. We can only try and do our due diligence to go to see what their credentials are, what their testimonial. will I say that? But now I know, because I've seen it so many times, people can pay for testimonials, or they say, oh, leave us a testimonial and you could be entered into a competition. And I'm just like, that's not a real testimonial.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
you're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
True.
Or, you'd be like, oh, I could win £100. I mean,
I'll give you a free session if you do a testimonial. Yeah.
For me, and again, I'm really not. Actually, yeah, I am knocking people who do it because I just think it's wrong. Like, a testimonial should come from somebody who's not getting anything in return for it.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud to say that all my testimonials are such. So I would say for people to go where they feel drawn. But I do fully understand that when people are in a vulnerable state, they may be drawn to just anyone. But I have faith that people can distinguish it. It may take a few times. Sometimes when you get burnt, that's how you learn.
True. True.
So maybe that was needed for your journey.
Yes.
To say, listen, that wasn't right. So find someone else. There are associations. So there's the UK Reiki Association, there's the Angelic Reiki Association as well. And I say, to people, just go with where you feel drawn and where you feel safe.
Yeah.
And more often than not, some people you can tell. Like when someone's not being genuine, and if they're pushing you to have more sessions, sometimes you need a few more. That's absolutely fine. But if they're like pushing you to do it in a way that doesn't feel comfortable for you, then that's probably they're just trying to get you some money. Like for me, I always say to people, please just have one session with me first. If you like me, if you resonate with my energy, let's do a few more. And going back to where you said, oh, I didn't feel anything. And I say to people, look, not everybody feels everything the first time round, because you might be so blocked and your conscious mind is saying, well, like how we said, placebo effect.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, but there's also something called the nocebo effect.
Yeah,
where it's the opposite, where you've decided so rigidly in your head that this is not going to work for me. Same like where people are like, I'm not going to be hypnotized because they don't feel safe.
Correct.
So you could go to Paul McKenna, the most famous hypnotist, and he will not be able to do it because you have decided that it is not safe for me to be hypnotized. Again, going back to how beautifully powerful we are. We forget. We start giving our power away to everybody else. And this is why I say to my clients as well, I want to empower you. I want to help you heal yourself. I want to help you get more connected to yourself, that you can just rub your hands together and just put it on your heart. We are healing machines. We don't need a certification to tell us that.
True.
As long as you're doing it with pure intention and you're not trying to scam people out of money for it, you can do your own healing. I fully believe that. And you don't need to be trained to do that because your body heals.
I had Paul McKenna on the podcast actually, and I found him so fascinating. He's just amazing. For people who are still a little bit skeptical and also intrigued, because I'm sure that those two come hand in hand, you've actually worked with a lot of celebrity clients, haven't you? And without naming them, what are some of the biggest transformations you've seen them? Like, where have you seen them shift?
So, I mean, for me, client confidentiality, whether you're a celebrity or not, is always at the forefront. There's been some amazing people I've worked with. The one thing I say to people is that we all have imposter syndrome. Yeah. Whether we like to admit it or not, this is what I found with working with these high profile clients and celebrities. The biggest transformations that I've had from them is removing that fear from them. Because, I had a supermodel, beautiful woman, and we did an online session because she was, I think she was somewhere beautifully exotic for a photo shoot. And we did a session. And I was really genuinely shocked that I could feel this in her heart and in her solar plexus, that there was this very heaviness there. And it was almost like she didn't feel worthy. And I said to her, when we had that debrief afterwards, and she broke down, she goes, I just don't feel pretty. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, girl, you are stunning and you do this for a living. And there was this, she goes, but I feel like I'm just not enough. And that was the biggest thing that a lot of us feel. I think I'd go on record, all of us feel that we're not enough.
I would agree. Every time someone comes to my workshop, they always tell me they don't feel that they're enough.
Because and it saddens me that we are these amazing beings. Our body itself, take out all the spirituality stuff, take away all of that, go on physical science of how amazing our body is, how amazing our brain is.
Yes.
How are we not enough?
I know.
Who told us that we're not enough? Our bodies are brilliant.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's so funny because I had someone talking about motherhood, and I just find it like fascinating when my friends are pregnant, right? And they've just given birth and they're like feeding their child through their body. And like recently one of my friends was telling me that, you know, when your baby cries, your breast just starts pumping out milk, or like even if you see a picture of your baby, it will like start creating milk. And I'm like, isn't that just like madness? Like the way we are created, it's just like crazy to me. But
and you're going to tell me that intuition and things are not real. Like, has anybody studied the human body? And like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, and also there's so many things that we don't even know about, like brain surgery and the ins and outs of our brain is still very much unknown. You know, they're still discovering parts of our brain, how it works, and even parts of our heart now. Like I said, they were so sure that it's the brain that governs the whole body. But what they found, that the heart actually sends, like, I think the most nanoeth second, the heart signals the brain to fire off the neuron. So actually the heart is heart-centered. I think it came from Heart Math.
It's also about like neuroplasticity has only been discovered in the last few years as well.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know that before. So it's so interesting. I mean, you were talking a lot around how Reiki is used in hospitals. I just want to say, like, what we're saying is not like medical advice that you can only use Reiki, but how do you know when you should be using Reiki or taking conventional medicine? And do you think it will ever be as like a full replacement for conventional medicine, or just work side by side with it?
I 100% believe you need both.
Okay.
You need both. Like, if I cut my finger off, Reiki's not going to grow it back, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go to the hospital, get it sewn back on.
Yeah.
And then what Reiki could do, well, I say Reiki, I'm talking energy healing because Reiki is just a form. And I'd like to just also just think I did an intuitive Reiki session for you. I didn't do a Reiki session for you because Reiki is a very traditional form.
Right.
So Reiki is going through all your chakras. So what I actually did for you was an intuitive energy healing or intuitive Reiki, because I didn't go the traditional Reiki route.
Got it.
I just want to make sure that people don't get confused, because
yes.
Reiki is the word that does get thrown around.
Energy healing.
Yeah, energy healing. So where energy healing modalities could help, like Reiki, would be to accelerate the body's healing abilities to heal that sewn on finger, right? So we can't fully replace conventional medicine. I don't think that's ever going to happen. We can definitely accelerate it, and it's a beautiful complement for it. I mean, I'm all for going more back to basics, because again, our bodies exist just the way it is. It's beautiful just the way it is. It functions just the way it is.
Yeah.
We just sometimes need a little bit of extra help, and whether that comes from the form of traditional medicine or holistic medicine. I do favor holistic, because I feel like when I have read those papers back in my uni days where the sugar pill elicited the same effect as the other pill, I'm like, I'll take the placebo any day, because actually the chemicals, synthetic chemicals you're putting in your body, you're putting more faith into that than something that's actually quite natural.
True. I love that. You also call yourself the 1 minute healer. How can somebody at home heal themselves in 1 minute right now?
Okay, so I'll go on record. I was given that name, so I don't go around saying I'm the 1 minute healer. It has just become my tagline.
Yeah,
and the reason for that is because I do free 1 minute meditations daily on my Instagram. I go live wherever I am in the world to just show people that actually just taking out 1 minute of a day. Now, I'm not saying you're going to heal yourself in 1 minute. What I'm trying to say to people is, we lead very, very busy lives now, right? Everything is fighting for our attention. They're fighting for our energy, like especially with our phones, right? Everything is trying to get your energy. This is what I'm saying. Just imagine like the whole world is just trying to take a bit of Shivani, right? In whatever shape, form. I'm just trying to show people that out of 24 hours of a day, if the busiest person on the planet can't stop for 1 minute and just give back to themselves and show their body and their mind and their soul or energy, you want to call it, just 1 minute of pure intentional pause, then I would really, really hate to see that person who can't commit to doing that. And by doing that, what you're doing is actually providing and telling your brain that, guess what, I matter.
Yeah.
I'm good enough to just stop for 1 minute and stop whatever I'm doing because I appreciate this body of mine. And it's as simple as that. And by doing that every day, you are going to heal yourself because you're giving your body that 1 minute of pure, unadulterated attention, and you're like, this is me, and this is what I'm doing for myself. If you can do more, happy days.
Yeah, just start with 1 minute. Let's do it now. Let's get the audience who are watching this to pause for 1 minute, and let's do a 1 minute meditation.
Okay. You happy for me to lead it?
Yeah, of course. I'm not there yet.
Okay, so I'd just like to take, if it is safe for you to do so, please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through our nose. Hold and breathe out through your mouth. We'll say a mantra, which is an open mantra, so everyone can say it regardless of your faith or belief system. You can say it out loud or in your mind. It goes like this. Source of my being, please help me to live in peace and save my home, the planet Earth. And now for the rest of the minute, I would like you to just stay as still as possible. Try not to move your body. And just take your focus and awareness internally, wherever that is for your body. Allow your energy and your mind just to focus inside what's going on for you right now. Your mind starts to wander, just bringing it back gently to yourself. Just be curious. Just ask your body, what is going on for me right now? I'm giving you this 1 minute just to be still, just to be peaceful. And with that, just take one last deep breath in through your nose. Hold. And then as you breathe out, you can open your eyes.
You're on 3 times again.
It's your energy that's just moving.
So if you want to see how Lakhmi does more of that, I'm going to be uploading the clip where she does the energy healing for me, and we do that exercise but for much longer, which I think is really nice. I love that you said that. I think it always starts with like small steps, and I talk about that a lot. Before we close, what's one small practice that anybody is listening to right now can start doing today to start tapping into their own energy?
Pretty much what we just did then.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why I do it for free every single day. I've been going live on my Instagram. It's coming up to 3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to say.
So committed.
It started off, I'll be very honest, it started off as just a week. I thought, let me just do this for a week because it got channeled basically. I was like, well, I say that, I have to backtrack. When I was on a... I'm
not yawning, all my energy is coming out. Now I'm like, now I'm going to just say that, like when I'm yawning, my energy is coming out.
Well, it is, honestly. It's just your body. Actually, it's on a scientific level, it means that your brain needs oxygen. So that's why it's like you are trying to, and it needs water. So basically hydrate. Yeah. And it means that you need to maybe just shift your energy around because your brain is lacking oxygen.
Got it.
On the spiritual side, it's the same thing, but also it's your energy releasing But I learned about that silent minute, and I can't take credit for it. It is something that I'm trying to revive, because when I learned about it, when I was on one of my angelic Reiki courses, it was basically designed, that mantra was designed by a man called Wellesley Tudor Pole back in 1943 when World War II was going on. It actually was done in Chalice Wells Gardens in Glastonbury.
Right.
And it was a way to get people of all faiths, of all religions, and even people who don't believe in anything, to come together to just meditate for 1 minute and give out a minute of pure peace and healing intentions, or whatever it is, prayers to the world, because the whole world was at war. Now, there is a lovely little antidote on the Wikipedia page about how this 1 minute meditation, which got broadcast over all the radio stations. So Big Ben would chime at 9 o'clock and they would do this 1 minute meditation around the whole UK. Even the US got behind it, and a few of the European countries as well. They would say this mantra because it was quite, open for everyone. And you would just meditate for a minute, or pray for a minute, or just give out some good vibes to the planet for a minute. And this is the power of mass consciousness and collective consciousness. I'm not going to ruin it because I want people to go and read it for themselves, but they do say that there was an association with Big Ben and this 1 minute meditation. And when I learned about it, I was like, how do we not learn about this at school in history class? We learn about everything that happened in World War II, but there was this also movement going on, and they still do it now in Chalice Wells. And I just thought, well, I was actually working with my mentor at the time, my spiritual mentor, and I just got this whole thing saying, we just need to give ourselves a minute. Why can't we give our bodies a minute? But also, I know it sounds really cheesy, but this is our planet. This is our home.
Yeah.
We have our individual homes, but we share this planet. This is why I'm so passionate about environmental and eco-friendly things, because we only have one home.
True.
Not everyone is going to be able to go to Mars, like
it's true.
Musk is saying. We have to do our bit for this planet.
Yeah.
And the first home is ourselves.
Yeah.
Your second home is your planet. And then your third home is actually your individual house.
Love it.
So that's what I say to people. Just do 1 minute and see how you feel. And the more you do it, the amount of DMs that I get, and then they're like, I did it as just like to check if it works. And then after a week or two, they're like, how is this working? How am I now able to drown out all of that noise?
Wow.
Because I do it anywhere. Sometimes when I'm in the restaurant, I just pop outside and I'll do it. Because I'm trying to show people we don't have to sit there in a quiet room and put a candle on, or, sit in a certain way to meditate. You can meditate anywhere.
Yeah, true. And I think that collectivism is so needed right now with what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You've spoilt me today. You've got me a couple of presents I want to talk about. Okay. That
is a 1 minute timer, and that has a little...
Oh, I love that.
This is what I give to my clients in the corporate world. But there's a QR code on there. If you scan it, it's a 1 minute stress relief video.
Love it.
So you can use that, and that's 1 minute. So
1 minute.
Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, use that timer, or use that as a prop and be like, I just need to give myself a minute.
Oh, I love that.
And however you do that, that's the frankincense spray.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. What's this?
This is selenite, which is, again, for crystal that's neutralizing your energy. And then I've given you a moonstone and obsidian tumblestone, because obsidian is very good for energy protection. And so you can keep that beside your bed. It'll absorb any negative energy and it will transmute it. Moonstone's very good for emotional healing. So for your heart.
For my heart.
Yeah.
Why did you use frankincense? Because I know a lot of people are obsessed with sage.
Yes.
Is sage the best thing to cleanse your space?
If you live in North America or South America, yes. If you live in Europe and in Middle East, frankincense is more potent because that's where it's originated from.
Wow.
So it's a bit like local produce, right? It always tastes better, and it's better for you because it's growing there. It's grown from the soil. Not to say sage's not going to work. I love the sage. I've got sage, and I love Palo Santo as well. So actually, I say to people, people like sage smells really weird, I'm like, try Palo Santo for the smell.
Right.
But again, that's for my clients who are in North America and South America. But it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Right.
Frankincense is just a little bit more potent. So try frankincense if you want to try and do a full thorough cleanse.
Full cleanse. And then you use this when you were cleansing me. What is this?
That's selenite. That's a crystal. And that helps to neutralize energy and make sure that like there's no... It's kind of like an amplifying energy as well. So you can actually use it to charge your crystals. So it's a recharge as well. So you can actually put... So if you wanted to, so crystals a little bit like.
I have a weird relationship with crystals because I love them. Like I wear them every day.
Yeah.
I have them all over the studio, all over the house, but I just don't really know. But again, I'm in the camp of like placebo is fine. Like it's not going to do me any harm, so I don't really care. But anyway, tell me what you think about crystals.
Crystals, I'll be honest, I love crystals. I'm very much in the same camp. I love crystals. I'm by no means an expert, but I know someone who is. His name's Mark Tweedy from Candy Crystals. He might be a really good guest to have on to talk about crystals. And crystals, I love the way he explains it. Crystals are like your phone, right? But you need to charge your phone. So if a crystal's just going to sit on your shelf and you're never going to charge it or neutralize it, because it's going to be absorbing energy. A little bit like when I came in and said there was a bit of stagnant energy in that corner. We need to move that energy around. Crystals are tools that actually amplify energy, certain frequencies, right? If you're just going to keep them by your bedside and never charge them like you would, what will happen to your phone? Your phone will die. Now, it's not to say that crystal will stop working. It will never stop working. It just won't be as potent in what it's supposed to do. So the selenite is a really great way to charge your crystals. So you can actually place your small crystals on your selenite. But it's all to do with intention as well. I always say to people, we love having all these little trinkets.
Yeah.
But really, the only way it's going to work is your intention behind it. And that's with anything,
So true.
So especially even like when you're cooking, if you're cooking in a rush and there's no intention or thought behind it.
You're going to feel it in the food. You're going to taste it.
You could make the same dish, use the same ingredients, but when you're cooking it with like love and like, oh my God, I can't wait to eat this food, it tastes better.
100%. My mum makes her food with so much love, and I can never, ever, ever make anything the same as her, because the love and the energy that she puts into it, you can feel it. And I really think that so often we think that we need to have a physical thing in order to prove it. And I think that you need to just be in touch with your energy to feel it.
So on that note, I'm going to share something that I've been a little bit scared to share. It happened last year. Was it last year or earlier this year? I was doing a meditate every day, and I was tapping in and channeling, and I kept hearing, "You're stronger than the stone." Okay, well, because I'd lost my master crystal, which is a crystal that we use in angelic Reiki that has all the kind of, absorbs all the angelic energies, I guess. I'd lost it, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I was going all in my mind about it. But I did this meditation, and I kind of channeled, and I got some messages from my guides and angels, and they were like, "You're stronger than the stone." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They were like, you're stronger than the stone. It's nice to have the stone, but that was just something for you, tangible, for you to be like, I've got my crystal now. Yeah. You don't need it. This is where I love bringing people back to basics. I know it's boring to keep saying that we are powerful beings and all we need is ourselves.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people say, oh, all the answers are within. But guess what? You already know. I say to people, when my clients come to me, I'm like, it's so nice to hear. Like, same with you, what did you feel?
Yeah.
Let me see what you do. I do it as well when I do like service swaps. I'm like, what did you feel for me? Does it matter? Does it matter? Because what's more important is how you feel.
Yeah.
And because it's your energy.
Correct.
And with something physical as well, we're giving a bit of our power away to it. So now when I see what is taking my power? And that the way I see now, everything is being designed to take a bit of me. And so I'm going to choose now who I'm going to let have some of my energy, who I'm going to let affect my energy. And this is why I don't keep myself open to everyone, because your energy is precious.
So true. Protect it.
And this is where time comes into it as well. Time's the only commodity we cannot get back. And that's why I'm so passionate about bringing 1 minute wellness and things that don't take up too much of your time, because I'm very much like, your time is so precious. So is your energy. your energy you can sort of get back, but you can recharge your energy, but also just protect it. Don't give it to everyone.
Thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like I've learned so much, and you have 100% changed my mind on Reiki.
Yeah.
So thank you.